Hi, I want to talk about environment variables in K6 and my ultimate solution to them for the best developer experience. So they have some documentation on the website, and it's pretty good. So the way the K6 initial supported way for this is to pass, let's say you have some environment variables in your environment, could be your laptop. You pass a dash e argument and an environment variable and then its value. So that's how you do it. So if you have 10 environment variables, you would have a pretty long uh, command script to just run a test with K6. Right? And so as node engineers who are from the JavaScript world natively, our de facto standard is .m support. Right? It doesn't have it. People have asked for it. Gentleman has made an extension, but if Um, I don't want to modify K6's binary, right? Like that's pain enough because the things you have to do, and you can take a look at the issue here. Um, you have to basically do a lot of backflips and all that. So it's hard to sell to a developer saying, "Hey, just run this script and it's going to work on your Mac." And in the CI, we want to do this. That's just noise. I don't like that. Okay. So what's the solution? Actually, it's quite easy. So what we do is we just install. Let's just look at the package.json here. We install .m-cli, right? So that's going to enable something like, so you should install it in package.json, but you might also want to install it globally on your laptop. So just say yarn add d.m-cli and it does the global install. The reason you want to do that is if you have some test scripts that you're running, like you want to make things more convenient versus typing the name of the entire script, right? Then that's something you want to do. So here is how you would do it. Okay, so again, .env is installed globally. So you do .env dash e, and then you're saying, okay, just use this .env file and then execute. This is the normal K6 execution script. And then here is the example .env file. I have three environment variables there, one of them indicating the environment so that user has the flexibility to run the performance test on any deployment of their choice, right? So they would just define it here, or in the CI, you can switch this very easily, whichever environment you want to run it in. So here is the long version of the script, and unless you're using some smart bash, then it's not going to auto-generate all that text for you, right? Oh, actually, this is like a long test, so let's just run a simpler one. Then env k6 just to get token, right? You should always have a get token test because that's the most annoying thing with environment variables. Can I get a token and is it 200? Right, so that's the long version. But you can just simplify it with a script in package.json, just like that, right? So that's a way to shorten it, if you will. Um, how does it look in the test? So it's just this is the way you reference it within the code. So underscore underscore env and then the name of the environment variable, and then there has to be a template literal. And so we use the email here, the password here, the base. Uh, I guess you could say, okay, this is like the base URL because our URLs just change by deployment. But that's it. That's all it takes. There's nothing to it. Here is a bonus. This was killing me too. Like I'm a node engineer, right? I need my well-known utilities like Moment, Faker, Lodash, right? So what you do is you just import them from CDN.js libraries. So if you go to CDN.js, you can take a look at all the libraries and their versions and JS, right? And now guess what? They even have Lambda. I'm going to have some fun with this. Ideally, I don't want to do this. I don't want to import from there, but that's the vanilla way with K6. I'm just wondering now next. or can we make this all TypeScript? And then we can abstract away all the K6 stuff, right? Just I want to feel like I'm in the node world, right? So, so things are not impossible with K6. Environment variables are actually very easy. In summary, install .mcli, install it both in your dev dependencies and globally, so that if you want to run something a la carte when you're local like that, you can do that, like starting with .m. Or somebody who is pulling your repository can just do a shorthand like that. And then you have your EMV file, of course, that's get ignored. um, and then of course set like an example file so they know how to fill it, right? Then they can ask for the right information. Template literals dash dash env, so and then the value of the environment variable. How do you do it in ci? Even easier. So their ci has some decent documentation, right? Their github action. It's a great action, so thank you for that, whoever worked on it. And of course it has a section for environment variables, but this is it's a lackluster example, like no one's going to do this, right? So I mean, you could improve this a little bit, and here is how it could be better. So let's say, let's close all that, we don't need all that. So let's say this get token test, right? And then of course to do some of these things, you have to install, right? I have some package dependencies that I want to have. So usually with K6 you don't have to install, right? But there are things that require that at the moment, so that's perfectly fine. So the action name, that's fine. The name doesn't matter. Just make it easy so you can read the CI. The location of the test file, and here's the key part. So that's one of the those are the three environment variables. This one is hard coded. That's fine. So if you want to run on dev deployment in CI, you just change that here. Right? And then whoever is the developer, when they want to do it locally, they just go and change it in their EMB file to dev or whatever, right? Local, whatever they're doing. Um, and then the secrets, you get it from GitLab, of course. When you go to your GitHub settings, and then in the repo settings, you just change that. If you don't know that, you can ask me later, but I'm sure most people know how to do that. So that's it. That's actually quite easy to work with the environment variables, and nobody had this out there. Um, I'm going to just go into all those four reports and then post this video. This is actually how easy it is, and I think this should be. I mean, I would just put this in the main product. Right? I don't know how anyone. The classic K6 way is, I mean, what do you do when you have so many environment variables, right? Like, how am I going to have developers passionately use K6 on their local laptops otherwise? You just want to make it as painless as possible and as customizable as possible. So whether they're working locally or whether they're running things in CI, it just works by changing one value. Okay? That's all. Have fun.